When Abraham Lincoln became president in 1861, the country was in trouble. Even before he took office, 7 southern states had left the United States. They said they no longer wanted to be part of the country. They formed a new country called the Confederate States of America. They wanted to keep slavery and make their own laws. Lincoln did not want war. He wanted to keep the country together. He said that the Union, the group of states that made up the United States, must stay whole. He believed that no state had the right to leave on its own. He said, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." He knew that the country could not last if half of it had slavery and half of it did not. Then on April 12, 1861, the war began. Confederate soldiers fired on Fort Sumter, a U.S. Army fort in South Carolina. The soldiers inside the fort had to give up. After that, more states joined the Confederacy. The Civil War had started. Lincoln was now the leader of a country at war with itself. He had never been in the army for very long, and he had never led a war. But he worked hard every day. He read reports, met with generals, and made many hard choices. He also gave many speeches to help people stay hopeful. One of Lincoln's biggest jobs was to find the right generals to lead the Union Army. At first, the Union did not win many battles. The generals were slow or made bad decisions. Lincoln was very patient, but he kept looking for better leaders. Finally, he found a general he trusted, Ulysses S. Grant. Grant was brave and strong. He led the Union Army to more victories. Lincoln also had to think about slavery. At first, he said the war was only to keep the country together, but as time went on, he believed more and more that the war should also help end slavery. He had always believed slavery was wrong. Now he saw a chance to do something about it. On January 1st, 1863, Lincoln gave an order called the Emancipation Proclamation. It said that all enslaved people in the Confederate States were now free. This did not end slavery everywhere, but it was a big step. It changed the reason for the war. Now the Union was fighting to save the country and to end slavery. The Emancipation Proclamation also allowed black men to join the Union Army. Many were excited to fight for freedom. Almost 200,000 black soldiers and sailors served in the war. They were brave and helped win important battles. As the war went on, many people grew tired and sad. Thousands of soldiers on both sides were killed or hurt. Towns were burned and families were broken apart. Lincoln felt this deeply. He read letters from mothers and widows. He visited soldiers in hospitals. He knew the pain the war was causing. In 1863, there was a very bloody battle at a place called Gettysburg in Pennsylvania. Over 50,000 soldiers were killed or wounded in just 3 days. A few months later, Lincoln went to Gettysburg to speak at the cemetery. His speech was very short, only about 2 minutes, but it became one of the most famous speeches in American history. He said, "That government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth." He meant that the United States was a country where the people were in charge. He wanted to remind everyone why the war was being fought, to protect freedom and democracy. In 1864, it was time for another presidential election. Some people thought Lincoln should not be re-elected. They were tired of war. They were angry about all the deaths, but others believed he was the right man to finish the job. As the Union Army began winning more battles, people started to feel hope again. Lincoln won the election. He became president for a second time. In his second speech, he said, "With malice toward none, with charity for all." That meant he did not want to hate the South. He wanted to bring the country back together with kindness and care. Finally, in April 1865, the war came to an end. General Robert E. Lee, the leader of the Confederate Army, surrendered to General Grant at a place called Appomattox Courthouse. The Union had won. The country would stay together. Lincoln was very happy, but he knew there was still a lot to do. The South had been badly hurt. Many cities were burned. Many families had lost everything. And even though slavery was ending, black people still did not have equal rights. Lincoln wanted to help the country heal. He wanted to make sure freedom was real for everyone. But just 5 days after the war ended, something terrible happened. On April 14th, 1865, Abraham Lincoln went to a play at a theater in Washington, D.C. During the play, a man named John Wilkes Booth snuck into the theater and shot Lincoln. Lincoln died the next morning. People all over the country were shocked and heartbroken. Many cried. Some people walked for miles just to watch his train pass by on the way to his burial. Abraham Lincoln did not live to see the country fully come back together, but he helped save the United States. He helped end slavery. He gave people hope during a very dark time. He is remembered as one of the greatest presidents in American history.